Hello my friends and welcome. To create a knitted tube of material, let's say when you are knitting socks, mittens or sleeves for a jumper or cardigan, you can knit flat piece of material and then sew it together afterwards, or you can use double pointed needles or circular needles. If you are working with double pointed needles, that means you need to hold 3 or 4 needles in your left hand and knit with the remaining needle. If you are new to knitting, it might be a bit of overwhelming. Though if you keep practicing, soon it will, your hands will get used to it. There is another knitting technique called magic loop. You can use long circular needles, and we'll go through that today. Now I have 100 centimeters long needles from one tip to another. The first what you need to do is cast on some stitches. I'll be doing 24. I casted on 24 stitches, and I just want to point out one thing there. On one side there are little bumps there, and that's going to be our wrong side, and like beautiful plait there, this is going to be our right side of the knitting. So what we do first, we move our knitting to the middle of cable, and if you notice, so that's our first casted stitch there. If you notice, the yarn is on the left side. So what we need to do, we need to turn the knitting around. So now yarn is on the right side, and then we divide our stitches in 2 equal parts, so 12 and 12. 2, 4, 12. And then you take the cable there and gently pull it out. Right, now we have 2 parts. So make sure nothing is twisted there, like that. So the wrong side of the knitting is facing us now. We're going to put it together and turn it. The plait is facing us now on this needle, and it's outside on another needle as well. The next thing is we will front facing needle, we'll slide stitches on the needle there, and back needle will pull out, leaving a little bit of cable on this side and also plenty of length of cable to work with our needle. So now we kind of turn it a bit, and we will connect the knitting. You put the yarn under the left hand needle, and we'll do first knit stitch, now just to make sure that there's no big gap there, pull it tight. So we do the next stitch, And this one I'm going to pull a bit tighter as well. And the next you just knit as usual. First couple rows are a bit fiddly, but as your knitting grows, it will be easier and easier to knit. So now we've done one needle there, and we turn the knitting over. We will put front needle back into the stitches there. Keep that short end of the yarn in the middle there. Now our stitches are back on the needle. We pull back needle out, and we will continue to knit this needle now here. Just pull out the cable, and so it's plenty of room to work with your right needle there, yeah? Now hold your string tight there, and let's do the next stitch. This one here as well, we will tighten up. Make sure that that beautiful plait is facing you. Second stitch, do a bit tight as well, and then just knit as usual. Just push your stitches on the needles. It's a bit tight there, but that's okay. Now we came to the end. Just have a look and see if the plate is on the right side, yeah? Like that, and now turn it over. So now the front needle goes back into the stitches. Pull the cable out. So we're putting stitches back on the needle. So keep the short end of the yarn down there. So we put the back needle out again and come to knit this side. The yarn goes under the needle, left hand needle. And again we do the stitch there. Tighten it up a bit. The last stitch there. So another half of the row is done. We turn the knitting over. Remember that plait needs to face you. So we pull the cable, and now this is the front needle there. We put it on the stitches. Pull the back needle out. Put the yarn under your left hand needle, and we keep going. A little bit there. I'll keep knitting around and show how it looks like after a few centimeters there. I knitted a few centimeters of our little tube. Just take the needles out and see where the needles go together. It's nice tight there, and in the middle there as well. That could be the start of your sleeve there. I wanted to show you this bit there. This is where we started our first stitch, and it's not very pretty here. It can be easily fixed with the tapestry needle. You can just sew it together, make it nice and tidy, or I'll show you different way how to do this without having the little gap in between first and last stitch there. So let's say you casted amount of stitches you need for your project. One way to knit without that gap between the first and last stitch is to swap last and first stitch in places. It's a bit tricky because you can't really move needles around, but I just take a stitch off the needle there. That's the last one, and this is the first stitch, and I just swap them. This goes on this needle, and then it goes on another needle there. Pull the short string there, and keep knitting as usual.